number one. KT will be on the blue side. They are the home team. They theoretically have that advantage moving into this one. Let's see whether it's actually going to work out, as Gwen first pick is what they're looking for.
Yeah, and if that gets banned, Perfect can still play Rumble. It's been his best pick career, so...
He is on blue side.
He is on blue side. That's a good point. As Pantheon is going to be taken away, of course. No Wukong just yet. The Azir will follow. And let's see if KT want to ban Wukong in that final spot, or if they'll leave it over to GENG. As we started the discussion this week with, okay, red side teams should really consider banning Wukong, but now it's more on the blue side teams, because if you ban the Wukong on red side, then they get the first pick Yunara.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you know, then they get first pick Wukong, and then they feel really good. So it's a bit awkward for red siders here in this third ban.
Yeah, we'll see whether the Wukong is actually going to come through here, because theoretically, if it's not banned, then you can almost feel a lot better about getting your hands on the Yunara yourself if you're able to just first pick the Wukong. Picking Yunara into it does seem a little bit more difficult.
Hey, GENG, that's what I'm talking about, yes! We learn, we approve, we, at the end of the week, finally solved it.
Yeah, I mean, this happened, like, a lot this week already.
Yeah.
We have seen a fair bit.
But a few teams kind of not doing it.
Yeah.
But not our legend group.
We had
GENG.
some Rise issues yesterday, perhaps. But we're going to first pick Trundle and give Gwen away.
Yeah, with Aurora banned, with also Wukong up.
Oh, it does feel better, though, because GENG couldn't pick the Rumble, but KT can, because they're on blue side. So theoretically, the matchup isn't horrible.
Yeah.
And they can play Trundle Rumble, which is, you know, rhymes.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I think Gwen and Rumble, or sorry, Gwen and Wukong has been the strongest melee topside on this patch. And I think that GENG would be wise to take it. They could go for Xin Zhao if they prefer that.
Doesn't feel great into Trundle.
But why would you do that when you could just play Wukong? Wukong is not a counter to Trundle by any means, but it is not a matchup that the Trundle necessarily feels great about. You still get some real value out of the subjugate, but sometimes you kind of get knocked into the air. They don't have to grab it here because the Trundle's already locked in, so they'll prioritize the Talia. And no Azir here, but we'll see what BD's answer is going to be the Talia, because since you already locked in the Trundle, the Orianna doesn't feel very good. As OK Perfect is just going to throw a bit of a curveball and take the Ambessa. This has been such a common response to the Gwen. And it's been polarizing because it looks horrible when you fall behind, but when you get ahead, it's definitely playable. Very high value into backline. You know, with Teamfight 3, you get access to the backline. And they'll go for the Vi, actually, instead of the Wukong here, once they see the Ryze and the Ambessa playing a little bit more towards the front side, instead of going to necessarily play like more peel and just kind of go toe-to-toe with Gwen and brute force your way through.
Not to mention the 1-2 punch, no pun intended, of the Talia Vi is very, very
crazy strong. And usually this duo isn't up. So
yeah,
like I was thinking about Wukong Gwen, but kind of
honestly,
this is busted Talia Vi.
Yeah, the Wukong Gwen would have been fine as well. Wukong doesn't have the greatest time into the Trundle, but it's all right. I don't think they're too worried about it, because Vi just kind of works, you know? You press your R button, someone dies is generally how it works if you do have enough follow-up, and I think that GENG will have that.
This draft just becomes so simple for GENG now, with the obvious fact that their composition has a ton of front-loaded damage, but also pick potential with the Weaver's Wall setup that you can then use to try to get a shove and a Vi engage. It's very difficult to play objectives if you are KT. What KT do have, though, is that additional power of the global in this Ryze. That can get them in or out of team fights. Talia, similar story, but can't move the whole team around. They take away a safe pick in the Xayah and a lane bully in the Lucian. The Sivir, great ban. Kai'Sa, amazing with what GENG has. And this is where things get a little bit more interesting. Varus is, of course, banned already. Yunara is already gone.
Yeah, there's six 80 carry bans, so a lot has been taken away.
Could just play Jhin, I guess, and...
I mean, Jhin is the next tier list pick, but
I mean, you have a lot of
a Caitlyn or a Jinx or something as well.
Yeah, you have a Vi, Talia, but if you had Wukong, I'd feel better about the Jhin. It's a little bit more sturdy of a front line. The Corki is going to be the option. It is blind, which is quite uncommon to see with the Corki, but very safe pick and wins a lot of lane matchups and will spike at 2 items right when your composition is really starting to come online, when your Gwen is starting to become more of a menace in team fights. So
what is Dr. Dom going to do? That's the question.
Yeah, with Wei here, Hasn't been the strongest 2v2 presence. Looking a lot better with Peter in that regard. And Peter's best days, that is to say.
Yeah.
Alistair hasn't seen a look in this draft just yet. The Jhin has worked really well with Trundle and Mbessa in the past because the Trundle sets up a pillar, makes it really easy for Jhin to follow up. Same with the Mbessa. And when the Mbessa gets on top of somebody, Jhin can follow up. Rel is not in a great spot, in my opinion. It depends on your comp. This comp doesn't have a lot of combo power with it.
Like, they needed engage. I guess this is fine, but it doesn't make me feel, oh yes, this is what
I would have rather seen Nautilus, because at least you can press R on Corki. So
yeah.
That would have felt pretty okay. Vi is a similar situation, but see what this final pick will be here in the bottom lane. As Alistair's still up.
Yeah, I think Duro maybe just is a cow. Nico is available as well.
I mean, this just means this lane that maybe Duckdom was thinking was going to be okay is now kind of a rough one that he's not going to have a lot of fun in. And it's just more engage for this comp that already has so much of it. The pick potential is high. The Nico is not a traditional like melee engaged champion, but can give you a lot of power as Gwen. If anyone gets rooted trying to close the gap onto Ruler, who already has an escape as well, then they're probably just going to get blown up. If you get rooted, then you get seismic shoved and you die. And the Vi ultimate is just not even a factor in those types of situations. I look at the Trundle here and I think Corki doesn't care. If you're trying to pillar a Talia, you're going to get shoved and blown up. Nico is not going to be the one who you catch with that. And these first pick Trundles, I think, have really been punished a lot by some of our best teams. Blind Trundle, not infallible. And I think this draft for GENG can kind of run circles around it.
I think they should be able to. We'll see whether KT can come out swinging. There are, like, I mean, it does have some explosive potential. I'm just very worried about that bottom side of the map because already Wei's debut wasn't exactly what we wanted. It was, unfortunately, what we expected, but it just didn't really hit home their first time of asking. So this is going to be very, very difficult if they are going to play through that bottom side of the map. I think waiting for a lane swap is going to be aim of the game here, and Reliance pretty heftily here on Perfect and BDD to make these lanes work. See how it goes. We jump into the Rift for game one.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the Rift for game number one. GENG and KT facing off. KT with blue side. I don't know whether they necessarily got the maximum value out of blue side. Of course, these first pick Trundles have been hit or miss. Sometimes it works. We have seen Trundles be completely ridiculous. But this doesn't feel like a big hit for me. Especially when there was, like, even Wukong was available.
Yeah,
like, that's the crazy part. Of course, like, people don't like picking it into the Trundle, but he has so much utility that I don't think Canyon would have really minded. He just sort of picked his poison, decided that the Vi was going to be the choice.
Well, now you can use it as a draft edge. If you end up losing this game as GENG, you have blue side, and then you still have the Wukong available, so there's so much flexibility there.
Yeah, the Yunara question mark is still a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. So those both still being open means we kind of reset in that. Again, that's assuming a GENG loss, so that's you're already feeling pretty good that probably end up in game two where red side again. All that aside, I think you really kind of summarized it quite well in that BDD and Perfect really need to have great game plans, or rather great performances. We know the game plan, which is to win lane as best as you can. Not necessarily at level 1 here for BDD, but the Mbessa into the Gwen has been such a skill-based matchup. It's been like many of our matchups we've seen into the Gwen, like Jack's Gwen, where you absolutely can win. But if you're playing against Keen and your nameplate says Perfect, it's a lot of confidence, I would say, to expect that this one is going to go well.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficulty. As Ruler and Duro doing exactly what this composition is going to do, and that is win lane, shove, harass, and generally have a good time. This is going to be lane swap waiting room for KT for the majority of the time. Just 100%. Try your best to get as many minions as possible.
They could have just gone toe-to-toe with Engaged and picked Nautilus, but they're like, nah, let's just pick Nico because it wins automatically, by the way.
Yeah, and KT could have picked Nico themselves.
Yes.
Which might have been okay. That being said, I mean, I think Leona was already up, and Leona Corki would probably actually be kind of all right in the lane anyway. So it was never going to be a great time here for KT, bottom side of the map. Unless they went Caitlyn Lux or something, like did something ridiculous, but they needed Engage, so they couldn't do that.
Yeah, Jin in this draft too is really so reliant on this Ambessa being relevant. And if we see Perfect fall behind, it becomes a lot more difficult for Duck Dom to play the game because Jin, as we've talked about so much, which is why in many metas where we haven't really had that strong bruiser top laners, you have been a big Jin hater because it's like, well, I mean, this champ isn't really an AD carry. They have a comp that has a Trundle and an Ambessa, so Jin definitely can get worked on. And is a little bit less immobile, technically, with like a Rise to help him out, but again, if Perfect falls behind and this Gwen is just bullying him, and he can't even really enter team fights, then the Jin doesn't work. Yeah. And it's not Duck Dom's fault in that case, but this is how it is.
He is still Jin. And, you know, I've tried to turn a new leaf, you know, to like open my heart to Jin possibilities, you know. And it's sort of worked. I'm less against it. But
yeah,
still
it's
just
been
doesn't,
better.
He doesn't feel like a champion that does a lot of damage, you know, as the game goes on. You know,
it's not satisfying when you clean up a team fight.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hold on, reloading.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
And like you see Sivers getting more and more items, and you know, like you've seen, there's examples of this champion will just kill everyone if we wait late enough. Slice and Shove not going to quite find BDD here. Like Jinx is another point there. Even Caitlyn can do it. Like there's a lot of champs that can get stuff done. Speaking of Doc Dump, I mean, Aphelios is one of those.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Although it wasn't the other day because his gun management was horrific.
Yeah, the gun management was a slight problem. The cow that flew out of the river also.
Yeah, I felt really bad though because I was quoting Dracos and I was like, oh yeah, Dracos really loves how he controls his guns, and then he just basically messed it up all game.
Yeah, he like had Caliburn out half the time in team fights. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Duck Dom Aphelios I've come to love and rant about.
My favorite was like hitting a 4-man ult with Gravitum Severum, which just doesn't do anything. Yeah. It was ungood, but it's all right. We'll see whether he does get his hands on an Aphelios later on in the series. Maybe he can make up for it. I mean, we know that he can definitely do better.
If you compare all those champions you mentioned, the Aphelios, the Jinx, Zeri, etc., to Jin, let's just say Jin's not really in the top 3. I don't have the numbers, but I can pretty confidently say I don't think he's in the top 3 AD carries for pentakills.
I don't know.
I just don't think so.
Yeah. Have we ever seen one?
That's a good question that I don't have the answer to, but maybe
it might have happened. Like, I mean, we've seen like Jins get really fed in the early game, so maybe he just, you know, runs after them while he's reloading and kills the last 3 people, you know?
It would be funny if we just get the update in like 5 minutes. So like, actually, Ruler is the only Jin player who has a pentakill or something like that.
I think that's the truth.
I feel like it would be Guma who has it, you know?
If anyone was to have one over the last few years, it would definitely be Guma, but I personally don't remember it.
No, same.
Maybe there are some T1 fans that remember and they're like, oh, these idiots, they don't know one of the most memorable moments in League of Legends
remember,
history.
we were talking about Aphelios. I remember the first pentakill in the LCK for Guma on Aphelios, which I think was actually in a T1 GENG matchup.
Ooh, I forgot that it was against GENG.
Yeah.
That was back when it was truly 200 years.
Yeah. That was a very Aphelios favored meta. Like, Aphelios was often first pick on blue side back then. About it. Crazy how things have changed. That was when Gale Force was a thing.
Oh god.
Oh no, this is an Atlas Wolf cast where we're talking about the past.
Yeah, no, exactly.
4 years ago, remember this thing. The lane swap actually here for Duro and Ruler, as they want to take Perfect out of the game, which, when you think about it, like you were talking about how it's a tough matchup for Duck Dom away, like kind of unplayable, but if they can just make this unplayable for Perfect, all those things I was talking about, yeah, he might fall behind this skill-based matchup to Gwen. Well, he's certainly not going to be getting ahead if he is landing into a Corki Nico.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. I assume GENG kind of did this, like, to guess, like, to catch the lane swap, right? Like, off a reset, we're going to head towards the top side of the map. They can play around the grubs as well. Drake was actually taken very early here by Cuz, while we were reminiscing. So that's actually a big pickup and very early as far as the Drake take is concerned. So Cuz going to be off to the races there.
Look at the timing of this back here for Keen in the bottom lane. Crashes a wave. Some CS will be lost here for Perfect as the swap comes through the top side here for Duck Dom away. And Grubs aren't up for 30 seconds, so Ruler and Duro get a free back here. Keen will get the same. Doesn't have teleport, but doesn't need it because he has the crash. So that tempo advantage they got from the faster lane swap not only hurts the Ambessa, who's now 20 CS behind, but will still give them the opportunity to contest Grubs here in 15 seconds. This is GENG macro at its finest.
And it's just controlling the tempo of the game, right? This is what happens when you have this winning bottom lane matchup. You get to move first, you get to crash the wave, they have to spend the extra time, and we talk about tempo vibes a lot. This is just tempo.
Yeah, exactly.
They just have the regular good old tempo. They also have the tempo vibes as well.
Yeah. Despite my
really
attempts,
what we're talking about.
Despite my attempts during the key points of the match to try to maybe swing it the other way.
Unfortunately, tempo vibes do not listen to narrative.
No, the key points also were very clearly on the GENG tempo vibes side.
Yeah.
The Wolf is saying maybe it's an upset, but the stats and everything else that's on the screen is saying otherwise. Well, I mean,
if you want to look at positives, do you see any deaths for KT?
no.
Yeah.
They have a dragon lead, and they have Cryo and Grubs for a moment.
They have taken infinity% more objectives than GENG so far this game. Never mind, Duro's going to come in, finds a double Pop Blossom. Dom is able to get some shots off, but that is still first blood onto the enemy jungler. Immediately answered there as BDD does get a kill, but down goes Wei at the same time, and GENG are going to alleviate that whole issue when it comes to the feats of strength things. As not quite the skill there. Dom went down to 1 health, though. That's kind of crazy.
Well, when your Rel has level 6 on Grub Fight and gets a 3-man Magnet Storm, and then Jin autos 1 time, that's when you wonder if the Rel was the right choice, right? When you're talking about supports, they wanted the engage. Obviously, Rel could get a lot more done in this comp later on. Dom a little greedy here, but Canyon doesn't have ult. He does have a ton of vision control. Now, it looks like they're not going to commit too low on the health bars ruler.
It was also a Steel Caps Jin. Like, his only item was Steel Caps.
So this whole fight to me is about the fact that
Perfect is dead.
Okay, well, that issue with the Gwen getting ahead, we kind of check that box here for the GENG composition.
Yeah.
And like white it out maybe out of the KT win cons and pretend it's not real. Maybe there's another win con they can find for this gen. Okay.
Yep. Snare is not going to connect, as Duro was looking for an angle with Chovy, but not going to quite find it there.
This is going to be one of those games where GENG's macro outpaces the color commentary and the replays, isn't it? You know, where I'm like, okay, let me explain this last fight. Oh, never mind, we're moving on to the next one.
Yep, let's explain this fight.
Duro is a little ahead of the curve here in terms of his disguise, but he still tricks perfect, and that's that.
Yep.
I'm
glad we got the replay.
The last fight was more interesting to me because Cuz wanted to hold his smite. I wanted to actually get the first grub without smiting, and then Canyon queued in and stole it from him, and then he was out of position because they wanted to then contest with his smite. So you get the first grub without smite, contest with smite with the Rel ultimate, and then they lost the fight. GENG were faster on the play, and that's like what really went down in that first fight on the grubs where they lost it. And then GENG get a free kill, and Ruler going to get a third of Dom, nearly half of Dom's health bar here in this exchange.
Yeah, let's not do 4th bullets when there's a fast bomb available. Let's just not do that, I guess. Maybe that's not going to be a thing that you're allowed to do.
Don't think so.
Yeah, Dom does at least now have his serrated Dirk, so he does do a bit more damage. But still not feeling fantastic. 2,000 gold to lead here for GENG. There's Canyon just wandering around the lane. They do manage to spot out this ward. They will be able to clear it. And 22 seconds until this Ocean Drake.
Yeah.
Fox is not working today.
No, he's off.
So, and we've been inundated by Chemtech Souls.
We have had a lot. We've had a lot of Hextech Souls as well.
Yeah,
but it's not going to be a Hextech Soul this game, so it feels like it's Chemtech Soul, yeah?
It's like Tech Week. It's Tech Week here.
Yeah.
The LCK, I guess. As Canyon is going to start this one up, we will be able to see which tech we're going to get. Well, it's actually only Chemtech is possible.
I would love to see a Tech Crunch article about the prevalence of Chemtech Souls in the LCK this year, and across multiple years. Like, I can see the headline now, like, have there been just one too many Chemtech Souls in the LCK?
What's the deal with Chemtech Souls in the LCK?
We collaborated with Tech Foundry.
Oh my God, Wolf.
And it's Chemtech Soul, by the way. Yeah, we already knew this one, but just to show you guys factually that it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tech Week. We're celebrating Tech Week, and so really glad that you could all make it out. Hope your lanyards aren't too tight.
So this bottom lane here, Dom can't get to the turret to farm. Like, plates are going down. The Gwen is denying farm on the top side, not crashing that in, so Perfect is not going to get money there. And so a 1-kill Gwen has a 1.1k gold lead. And yeah, it's a GENG game, isn't it?
It is feeling pretty GENG gaming.
So it may look like right now, let's say at 12, 40, a 2.5k gold lead, 2.6k gold lead here for GENG.
Yeah.
They're 3 kills to 1, but maybe KT could upset the Atlas.
Look, it ain't over till it's over, right? And it's not, it's still quite early days.
Yeah.
Looking for some plates to go down.
Plates
and
are
things
still
like
up,
that.
yeah.
There's 0 turrets taken around the rift. You know, we haven't exploded the map or anything. And there is going to be, in 2 minutes time, a Rift Herald to fight around. Maybe that's going to be the theory. As, yeah, Dr. has given up on trying to shoot Ruler with 4th bullets.
He's like, the turret's still perforated, man. I'm just going to get one more tick.
Yeah, he's walking after him. It's a little bit scary. Okay. Sometimes you throw a captive audience at them, as there's the flash as BDD comes in. He flashes on over. Ruler just gets out of the way, though. And so now BDD, it's all a bit dark. That Deadly Flourish was so sick, but the Mega Cone is just going to keep Ruler alive. And I guess he just never really was in any trouble. It's once again Perfect is dead. He is going to dash a bunch, but the Scissors is still there.
By the way, Chovy is landing into a rel. Like, Chovy had Weaver's Wall and could have impacted the play up their top side if he wanted to, or could have come down and tried to catch BDD and win that. He ends up just taking a plate in mid, and there's just no farm picked up here for KT as BDD flashes, misses the root, as it's a dodge from Ruler at the same time, you know, tomato, tomato, whatever, but he doesn't get it. He uses his flash, uses his Realm Warp. They don't get the kill. They get both summoners on a Corki who has Valkyrie, and this Ambessa is no longer in the game, and now the Jhin is probably not going to be able to do a whole lot in this one. It's not about Duckdom's individual performances, although some of the traits he took against Ruler we raised our eyebrows at.
I mean, I think his Jin's been fine.
Yeah, it's like Duro, who's ruining Perfect's life as well. It's not even like Perfect lost lane to Keen. Duro tricked him as a minion in the bottom lane, has a really cool blast cone engage to your top side, and catches him there. And I mean, now it's 1.1k becomes 1.8k here for Keen as a Rift Maker. Yeah, and Chovy's just Chovying, you know?
Yeah, the Gwen is really becoming a problem, if she wasn't already. And now it's a 4,000 gold lead. Like, it's just not fair. It's not allowed. Why is it a 4,000 gold lead? Why is it a 4,000? I mean, they got first turret, and they have just taken all of the things that they would like. Rift Herald might go over to KT here, but I mean, what's the cost? Every single time, GENG are just taking so much more here.
Yeah, and like, they considered a contest here, but Duro does not have his ultimate. He will actually in 8 seconds. He really wants to make something happen, but they're not here on time. Like, Chovy also had Weaver's Wall. The fact that this Herald take seemed like it was a freebie, and GENG were like, I'm not sure. Maybe we could actually get that too. Because here's that Weaver's Wall.
Yep, it is going to come through just to try and take down this turret. And that should be working out here as Duckdown does walk up. Cuz is moving in as well. Deadly Flourish doesn't find the mark. That's a fantastic Tangle Barbs. That will be able to lock down this turret. Duro is getting my POM so far, if it isn't just, you know, Keen for being massive.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a Duro angle so far.
Looking pretty good. 100% everything contribution, by the way.
If you just tuned in and you didn't see why Duro's 1-1 and 3, but you saw a 2k gold lead for Keen and a 40 CS lead, 0 versus 0-2, you're like, oh man, it's Keen, but no, it's not.
Oh no, the bullying of Perfect has continued. This is just emotional warfare here. I mean, as Perfect is just not allowed to play the game.
T1 employed this strategy at the road to MSI, which was kill Perfect and you win the game. But in this game, I feel like more than a series, more than Perfect's individual performance, right? It's like he got caught by Duro twice, and then the third time they just grouped and killed him. And the Ambessa, like we talked about at the very beginning of the game, like you talked about before the game even opened, it's like, this Ambessa so important to the comp. It needs to function so that the Jhin can function. And now it's a paperweight in this game, and it's unfortunate that Scissors counter paper as well. I guess a paperweight's not paper, but
yeah,
maybe
paperweight sounds more like a rock.
Yeah, maybe maybe in this case, Keen is the paperweight. And
wait, Ambessa is the Scissors?
I don't know, Atlas. Like, the paper can't move.
No, I think what happened was, and this is just an unfortunate mistake, you know, is Perfect asked for a paperweight, and whoever was listening only heard the first half and just gave him paper. And then he took paper into the fight against Scissors, and we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
It's a clerical error.
It could happen.
And hopefully, you know, if we can't chrono break it, we can address it in the next game.
Have you considered that Scissors could also be used as a temporary paperweight? Like, it's heavy enough to keep the paper down. In most cases.
That's a really good point. And theoretically as well, if you did crush paper enough, you could make it heavy enough to be a paperweight itself.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that that's the paper that they were offered. Wow, this tangent has really gone very, very far.
Not much has happened except KT got a Chemtech Dragon.
They did get some money.
Objective bounty available.
As Wei is just here. He is amongst it. As Chovy's going to come on over, doesn't get the shove. Wei's able to walk it off.
Yeah, Chovy doesn't flash for that or anything because he's like, I don't know, Wei is just here for some reason. I don't trust that. I don't like that.
Yeah, flashing would have been odd.
You know, I don't think there's anything he did. He fishes for it, but he's like, nah, whatever. You can take vision for just a second. Nah,
Ruler just soaking the deadly flourish so that the cannon doesn't get picked up.
All right, I see an image that may have been
that is so
generated.
cursed.
I don't know, but it's got
just paper with a rock on it with scissors on top of the rock, like all three of them at once.
Yeah.
That's not even a game anymore. That's just cheating.
I mean, the next thing they should put up on the prompter is like paper with Wayne the Rock Johnson on top of it.
Oh,
Keen on top of Wayne the Rock
Robin.
Johnson, and then it's like, that's where Perfect is.
Yeah, watching him do arts and crafts. It's all right. Public execution comes through. Perfect actually getting involved for once as Keen will get a taste of Perfect's medicine. And it doesn't feel fantastic. That's BDD getting another kill for himself at the same time. But
I mean, that's
in
money.
the meantime, yeah, Chovy is also picking up an inner turret.
Canyon is going to catch Duckers.
Face. Oh, never mind.
Canyon's going to catch Duckers?
Oh, no. You were so good. You were so good. Okay. He's going to be spotted. It's fine.
Woo! Canyon's going to catch Duckers?
Okay, he is going to catch him. He thought that he was safe. Does flash out of the way, though, and now the rest of KT have made their way over. The curtains have been called as Canyon gets that bullet to the face.
Okay.
And Wei misses a cannon, but that's fine. Last shot goes towards Ruler, and honestly, Dom is playing incredibly well.
Yeah, he played that so safely. There were like 7 different times where if he's like, nah, I guess I'm safe, when he walks forward, this is just a disaster. He still survives through the Weaver's Wall engage. Now this, also here, is set up by GENG, right? Perfect, though, knows his teammates are nearby. And he has a really nice engage here. The follow-up is there. BDD gets here. They get the shutdown onto Keen, which is a lot of money into BDD's pockets. Zero is able to get out. And then here, Weaver's Wall comes first. As Dom's playing it too well, and Chovy's like, let's give him no space to work with here. But his flash timing on that shove, and he gets behind the pillar, safety pillar.
Yeah.
And then gets the shot there onto Canyon is immaculate. It's all these small wins, though, for KT. Feel like drops in a bucket, but if they keep getting more and more drops, potentially it could fill as the fans are elated because it's the first good news back-to-back here that KT has had all game. Still a 4K deficit.
I mean, they're holding on to a 4K deficit, though,
Yeah.
because that 4K deficit felt like it was there at 7 minutes into the game. It is now 20 minutes. If that hasn't gone up, that can only mean good things.
Yeah, we're definitely in the
all
right
bad
direction.
things. Yeah, all bad things, but like mainly, like it's better than if it had have gone up.
A gold graph that flatlines is a good thing for the team that's behind.
Yeah, absolutely. As Otacon is not often a good thing for the team that's behind, as Tanglebob's just barely missing. That was actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't think they could do this because Chovy's about to have his Weaver's Wall back, and he can get here really quickly. I mean, Ruler almost has 2 items, he just hasn't transformed because he got it so fast. And they are looking to come over here for the contest, and it's going to take some real fancy angles from Perfect, I think, to win this fight. He's just not even committing in.
Yeah,
they're going to leave.
Splitter is Crashdown, does get way out of there. Chovy going to find the shove, though, and oh no, the Rel is just being caught out, and we'll just be eaten for breakfast. Keen coming on over, trying to kill this ward. Perfect is just teleported in, but it's a 4v5. Realm Warp to try and get KT out of there. They do, all 4 of them make it to relative safety, take a phosphorus bomb, but this is just going to be them giving over the Otacon. There's no good news.
The problem,
KT.
I think the problem for KT in this moment is Stucktom will try to annoy them.
If this steal comes through, that would be funny.
It won't happen. But I think the problem for KT on the initial setup is if you don't get anything out of it, you kind of have to stay because otherwise you just give it over. But look at where Perfect is on the minimap. I want everyone to see. Like, he hasn't TP'd in. He's straight up in mid lane. And then Chovy gets his Weaver's Wall back. You didn't have an advantage enough, KT, to start this one up and look for a tricky play without your Mbessa. And now they're like, well, we have to stay here. We can play through Realm Warp.
Well, I mean, if Perfect just had have not teleported, he could have maybe got some damage on the outer turret in mid lane. Like, they were never getting this Otacon 4v5. That was just a missed opportunity. But now Duro is taking a little bit of damage here. Wei coming on over with that Shattering Strike, but Shape Splitter is one heck of an ability. Deadly Flourish not going to be helping Dom lock down that kill. So Otacon in pocket here for GENG, but there is a soul point opportunity for KT if they do manage to get over and take this Chemtech Dragon, which is now up and available, and they do have control of the area. Duro trying to get himself out. The flash forward from BDD to try and lock him down. Public execution is enough to finish him off, and now Keen is in amongst it, and maybe that's the way he likes it. Down goes Way, and now the cease and desist comes through, cuz ain't tanking anything, as at least BDD gets one back on the back end of that play, but still, they're not taking a Dragon off this one, and it is just BDD against the world.
He's going to get Weaver's walled in.
Here's the world, by the way.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of rocks.
And there you have it, BDD's first death of the game. And I think this may be really the final nail. So Duro's on this flank angle, right? The rest of his team is trying to collapse. This is a really greedy angle from Duro, and it's somewhat predictable. I think this is a really good read from KT. They have so much vision, actually, in this area that they know no one can heal for them. The problem is that wallets are pretty heavy, and that's an extremely fed Gwen that you just fought into a choke point for. So it doesn't work out in the follow-up after the kill Duro, but if it was an even game state, I think that would have looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
But it wasn't, and
no.
he is flashless and down goes.
And the engage options from GENG as well, if there is an overextension like this, especially when Keen is so fed. Like, look at this, there's 4 people.
And he has W, so he just missed and like takes not even like 10% of his health bar, it feels like.
Yeah, he was just like, I think I'm fine. And he was. So, Keen, like, this is what happens when you have a Gwen that's 2,600 gold ahead.
Yeah.
They did manage to gank him that one time, that was cool.
Like, he has upgraded steel caps and a arm guard in inventory, so he has a lot of armor on top of the resistance he's going to get from his Mist. And the fact that he has Riftmaker. Only one Chemtech Dragon worth of extra healing.
Yeah, Way was looking for something. He still is. The full wraparound, but it hasn't really worked out.
He just wanted to hang out with our boy Pool Bay up there real quick. And
yeah. All right, there's the seismic shove. Perfect going to lose half of his health bar just from that alone. Deadly Flourish is going to be the answer here, though, as now Cuz is going to turn up. Pop Blossom going wide, does get the flash out as a cease and desist from Canyon. Looks almost suicidal, but Keen makes his way in, and BDD is getting cut down, but loads of flashes going to be utilized. The Talia has fallen, and Keen now frontlining, but no one else is there to help out, and KT! They just take both solo laners with no response from GENG.
Yeah, GENG trying to, I think, really break the rules of League of Legends a little bit in that fight. That engage from Canyon looked like maybe it was going to be saved there by Keen, but then he has to go in. The rest of the team can't follow up.
He doesn't even have his Rabadons yet.
No, he doesn't. But with all these kills that he's been fed over, he's got to be getting very close. That's going to be a big spike of damage, and otherwise a very safe build for this Rise. It's going to be a huge, huge spike for him when he does complete it. And, I mean, GENG kind of dropped the ball here at a critical moment with Baron up. Toby does not have TP. Canyon is alive here with Smite, of course, on this buy, but it's a one-way ticket if he is going to steal. GENG have to somehow poke through this, but I think this is just gone.
Well, let's see whether they can actually get in there and make this one a 50-50, because Ruler's got a lot of poke. The turn is going to come through. The pillar is fantastic. Way finding some CC. As now, Perfect trying to get himself out of there. Ruler is just doing so much damage. Way is dead as an afterthought, and KT, yeah, an optimistic Baron.
I actually thought the Baron take was okay, but you either have to burn it and commit or turn faster, and Way's positioning on the turn was not there. He didn't have his ult because he used it in the last fight. So he was kind of on the top of the Baron there that didn't get a crash down. The turn was really awkward. And then Chovy shows up. Like, if you're just a little bit faster before that Talia shows up, maybe you could do it, but like, watch this again, or we're going to go back to this play here, which is pretty absurd. It's a heavy commitment onto Perfect, and then Canyon takes a lot of damage, gets rooted here. Ducktom, again, having a great performance on this Jhin despite the game state. BD's on this flank angle. They use him to try to taxi Canyon out, and that's where TP comes through for Keen. Top side of the fight, of course, completely a wash here for GENG, and then Keen's like, all right, I did it once, I'll do it again. Not quite enough resistances this time.
Yeah, GENG, off the back of this, will be able to pick themselves up the Baron. And so, yeah, the good news for KT is swiftly eradicated. The Realm Warp there from BDD was actually so cute around this this last fight. Getting out of the way of Keen, gets back underneath the turret. Already got a bunch of flashes out, as you can see. Rulers and Chovies both on cooldown. Keen's going to be the next one up and available. Ducktom at least has his, and so does BDD. So KT right now with a few more summoner options, I guess. if there is going to be a fight. But the problem is there is now a Baron, and there is just like, it's an 8,000 gold lead. This is the problem. Like, you give them anything and it's like, oh, whoopsies, we now have an extra 3,000 gold. It's not like some teams, they win a skirmish or a fight and it's like they barely move the needle. If you lose a fight to GENG, it's almost like you can't ever play the game again.
Yeah, it feels like that from minute one, you know? You give them an edge in any lane, and then just play through it, like Duro did in the top lane, right? And the top matchup, I should say, because his first play was bottom side, but you guys know what I mean. He shut Perfect out of the game. Perfect still has had some impactful plays because he still is Ambessa, and his ultimate still locks down a target, and BDD is quite big, does have his death cap. But I think the way that last fight went was a lot of greed from GENG punished. And maybe they're a little bit less greedy next time. And this time the lead is so much bigger. The wallets are even heavier, if you can imagine it. That Keen didn't have to use his arm guard. Wasn't going to be enough to save him in that last fight, so he saved it. So he still has that. We'll have his Zonias fairly soon. You have to imagine he's had that arm guard for so long.
Yeah, very soon.
And I mean, they're just going to get this dragon for free. And for them, they're kind of just going, well, we've got all 3 lanes pushing. The only way we lose this game is if we try to hard push a little bit too far, like we did last time. And just wait, take the dragon safely. 4-1 it a little bit with our Talia. And we probably won't get an inhib off this Baron, but our lead is so big that we just go straight to the next Baron.
Yeah, there's only 30 seconds left, so it's not likely that they're going to be able to do too much with it.
Yeah, I don't think they get anything unless KT mess this up.
Yeah, it's a pretty fresh reset. So GENG still wanting to try and utilize this last 20 seconds. As Duro won't be finding anyone there with the Blooming Burst. As GENG will be able to get this wave at least to test KT.
Toby does have a nice angle here.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall is just going to bring them all out of the way. Seismic Shove is going to go wide, but look at that turret. Well, I mean, you can't because it's gone in an instant. Blink of an eye, and it does go down. And they just take the inhibitor turret. Now they're going to look for a turnaround, spend some of that money. They're 9,000 gold in the lead.
Well, they didn't quite get the inhibitor. They got the turret though.
There you go.
And that's the power of Talia 4-1 when you have that much control. Toby just sits on an angle and goes, well, if they look for a fight, we turn it into a 5v2 with an 8,000 gold lead and kill them and win the game. If they don't fight, I just say, well, you guys can't even defend your turret anymore, and put the Weaver's Wall up and kill it. And, you know, if KT try to contest there haphazardly, they die, lose the game. So GENG really can't lose there as long as they just play it even marginally well. And it's GENG, our best team. That's 22-1. So
they're pretty good. They're pretty good. One thing that has been plaguing KT is farming minions. And it has continued.
Yeah.
As it's an 80 CS lead here for Keen over Perfect. Perfect has been the one that's really just struggled to last hit stuff.
I mean, he just hasn't been allowed to.
Yeah, I mean, but like this has been a case for the last 3 matches for KT. He just hasn't been able to get onto the map at the right times to be able to get farm. And I think I was trying to make excuses, right? Like he's been giving farm over to Docdom, he's been letting BDD take his lane, things like that, making sacrifices for the team. But like, look at these numbers for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, he got hard focused early and hasn't been able to pick up the slack sense. And if he tries to, against a Talia side lane, he would just get collapsed on and die. Not that he could really ever get pressure. It would only be if like someone was missing in the lane that he's laning in. And unfortunately for him, like the lead that was 40 CS kind of turned into 50, 60, and it's ballooned. And then he's been joining team fights like crazy because he's trying to be the catalyst to get them back in the game instead of side laning. Yeah. But like, for example, there was that moment where he TP'd Otacon to just do nothing, where he could have gotten some of that deficit back for sure. He has a Hextreaker, which is like the saddest thing to have into a like almost full build Gwen. It feels like, I mean, practically full build for what contemporary League of Legends looks like.
Kane decided because he hadn't broken his arm guard yet, he's like, well, I'll just build a death cap.
Yeah.
Because I've already got Zhonya's. It's just the one-time use version.
Exactly.
Not too bad at all.
He's probably like, oh, Hextreaker, I guess I'll have to buy a Void Staff later if this game continues.
At least Perfect is now moving down to a minion wave towards that bottom side, so he's going to be collecting that. Baron's going to be up in 30 seconds time.
This is kind of
precisely what GENG are looking for.
Yeah, this is kind of the MO we talked about for GENG. Like, see if we can get a inhibitor. Oh, can't. Oh, whatever. We'll wait for the next Baron. It's up in 20, and
I mean, they're just going to take this inner turret because there's no one here.
I don't think they should commit Chovy's ult for it, but they don't have to. And all they have to do now is Weaver's Wall KT away. And like, what can KT even do here? Like, they have no vision. They have no entry, and if anybody dies trying to even like jostle for position here, like jockey for position, Duckdom's like, I can clear a wave, that's it. That's all I can do. Then they just lose the game. Like GENG don't do Baron, they walk down mid and end. So this is where things are basically impossible. There is no optimal play for KT here.
Oh, feels like he may have found Keen, but the seismic shove is there for Chovy. It's going to push him away. Ruler has 4 items.
Yeah, he just got that cheeky back off because they didn't start Baron right away. So he's just going to walk over here with big 4th item.
Oh, Duro, he finds both carries even after the flash. Cease and desist comes in. Down goes Duckdom immediately. The Nico is going to fall, and at least they get... No, they're not going to get beat. Oh, there it is. Down he goes. A double kill for Keen as Chovy's throwing rocks around. Perfect does have to flash. As BDD gets a Void Star from the grave that he might be able to use in game 2, because I think it's likely that this one is just over. Flash out from Cuz, and he just gets Phosphorus bombed to the face. That Infinity Edge is working real well here for Ruler as he finds a double kill. And GENG collect the ace, and they will win this game. And guys, it wasn't close.
It was not close, not even for a moment. There was like one hiccup on the top side, but otherwise, start to finish, GENG dominant. And maybe GENG and Arnold trying to talk to Secretary General of the LCK, be like, I think next year we might have to change the format. We have 3 groups. We have Rise group, we have Legend group, we have the GENG group where GENG just chills, you know, takes a vacation, and we'll see you in playoffs. Because right now,
maybe
I don't know.
GENG's group is they just like go over and face the best teams in the LPL or something. They do like a world tour to get like different experience. I don't know.
I don't remember who I was talking with about this. Maybe it was Wadid, maybe it was Valdez. We were joking about maybe GENG and T1 just shouldn't be in the LCK. They should just do a world tour.
Yeah.
Where they have to beat the #1 seed from every region in a circle, and once they do that, they get the privilege to come back to the LCK. And if they don't, if they lose at any time, they have to reset the circle.
Yeah.
And we'll just completely ruin every other region as well, Atlas.
That sounds really like difficult, but very cool. It's like a sports anime type of vibe. I'm into it. Yeah, GENG did way more damage than KT. KT just kind of fell off a cliff in this game. I think a lot can be said about things that happened in draft, but I think a lot of it was outside of that. And the way GENG just shut KT out was just too good.
You said at the beginning, Perfect and BDD need to have a really good game for this draft to work.
And half of that came true.
BDD did, but Perfect did not.
Yeah.
He got focused.
And the bottom lane was a disaster, as we expected. But there is the ability to right the ship. We'll see whether KT can do so as we go to a short break. When we get back, the space is going to break that one down, and then we'll have that game number 2.
나 옆에 돌아볼게. 나 간다. 나 없다 얘들아. 노플. 라이즈 맞아. 라이즈 노플이다. 라이즈 노플. 여기 맞아. 노플. 일로 갔네. 노플. 바로는 어때요? 가자. 오케이. 몸을 조금만 더 해줄래? 뭐야 이거는? 거리에요. 앞에서? 와우. 우리 팀은 킬 먹는데 도가 탔어요. 이야. 저도 콜스트야? 왜 이렇게 센? 인기가 떴는데. 아, 나 업핏 다운 나냐? 뭐요? 나 업핏 다운해.
See whether he can here in this next one as we dive into the draft for Game 2. KT with that blue side once again. And so maybe it's the Wukong first pick into Yunara action
Yunara
thing or something.
Yunara Wukong is still the focus here. Once again, the Aurora will be banned, even though Gwen was already played.
I mean, it's Keen. He's very, very good at the champion.
So they're just going to take that away. The Varus will follow again on blue side, interestingly. So hoping for maybe a red side Wukong ban that I don't think we're going to see. I think it'll be the Yunara
I mean, they have to ban it themselves if the Yunara doesn't get banned, isn't going to get banned.
I think GENG might just ban it again, and we just reset, and then Wukong gets banned here.
So they'll take it away themselves because they want to first pick the Yunara. They don't want to risk Ruler just picking it up himself, even if it is going to be into a Wukong. So you can understand that.
Are we just gonna, like, what is the plan here is where I get most interested. Are we just gonna go for Rumble first pick? Are we going for Orianna first pick? Like, what's the game plan? We're just gonna lock away the jungler. That's cool in terms of, okay, we're at the top of the tier list here, but what does it necessarily mean against a player who has been so heralded throughout his very long career of having tons of answers to meta picks, like his Skarner. He has been the best Skarner answerer to Xin Zhao since round 1, by the way.
Yep.
But also with a massive champion pool. So now you give over the Skarner, and we'll see what GENG grab with it. But identity-wise here, would have rather seen KT show something that's a little bit more rock solid than I picked the best pick that's left.
Oh, it could be a Malphite angle. We'll see where they do decide to go.
All right, well, this doesn't necessarily need to have a strong partner, the Skarner. You know, there's picks that it works really well with, like Rumble, which they may just take here, and I think is probably the best option.
Not on red side.
I think it doesn't matter that much in terms of what GENG are going to get done. I know it's bugged, yes, and like it does a little bit less damage, but we've been doing it for a long time, Atlas.
We have, but I still don't like it, and they're still going to do
Keen doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, let's see whether Perfect can capitalize.
So, like, there's a world where you expected Rumble and Skarner to come out after picking Xin Zhao, and you have an answer. Just picking the answer that's in the textbook, if you look up Rumble, like, there's like a section where it says, like, acceptable counters at the bottom. It says Ornn there, so that does work. But what is the comp going to look like is what I'm more curious about, because I see Annie, Xin Zhao, Ornn, and I go, well, I hope Duck Dom's on a hyper carry, a real big one. Maybe an Aphelios? That'd be cool. I could be down for that.
Nah, give me the Jinx. I want Jinx to finally make her way back. I think that champion is very good. Outranges a whole bunch of stuff. They will probably be able to see the AD carry face up, so that could be the opportunity as Chovy. I think like this.
Chovy loves Galio and Annie.
Both teams really want big old hyper carries.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that while Ornn is good into Rumble, you know, the Rumble usually gets a lot of lane prio. And we'll see if Perfect can weather the storm there. You should be able to, right?
Yep.
They'll take away the Lucian, which I find to be interesting. Both teams want the hyper carry, right? The Sivir ban, I think, would have been, like, both teams would love to have that pick, but since GENG get to pick first, it's KT who has to ban it again on blue side here.
Yeah, it's an especially good pick for GENG at the moment.
Yeah, it's just crazy for them. Yeah, 100%.
Let's see the next one here for GENG.
I think Zeri is a fine ban. Like, weirdly enough, anything that can do really well in late game team fights where you have this front line and the ornaments feels good. Kai'Sa, I don't
think that... I'm glad that they banned that for KT's sake.
Yeah, me too. I don't really... I know Kai'Sa has a crazy win rate right now and is doing really well, but I don't think KT really intending on following up on an Annie stun with Kai'Sa in this draft too much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there are certainly angles where, you know, you land a really good ult from the Ornn and make something happen.
We are setting up for the Giga Jinx angle.
It's the Jinx angle.
Okay, this maybe not necessarily as Giga Jinx, but still
I mean, it's jinxable. This is jinxable.
Still jinxable for sure. It's also Apheliosable, I do feel.
Yep, true.
It's also Caitlynable, but I don't think they're going to do it. As Ezreal, everyone thinks this champ is in a really rough spot right now, and clearly GENG are concerned about the dive opportunities that KT's comp does allow. They're gonna they ban Kai'Sa and they go for the safe Ezreal here. Xayah will be the response.
It just doesn't fill me with joy. Still, they do manage to get the Lovers Duo. That is very, very powerful. I believe it's Elk and On that are like 10-1 on this combo over in the LPL.
The thing about the Xayah into this draft, if it wasn't Ezreal, I'd be like, yeah, great. Like, you are running into Skarner, Galio. Like, they're going to be in your auto attack range. You're going to get a ton of feather value. You have great turn in this draft. But into the Ezreal means that setup on objectives becomes a lot harder. It's not unplayable, but it's certainly, Ruler has all the cards. Like, he holds, the ball's in his court when we set up 4 5v5s. And if Gen G have Prio, which, you know, look at the stats for that, it's pretty Gen G favor. They usually do have objective control, they usually do have vision control, they're usually massively ahead in gold when we get to the late game. It's a little bit concerning. And then Poppy's up, so you picked Rakan, and Duro's just like, well, I know what the answer to that is. I just, if you're going to go straight into Xin Zhao and then you're going to go, aha, they picked Rumble, I see that, and I just go Ornn, then I want to see something that when this comp comes together, I'm like, damn, I really liked how they rounded that out. I really love the hyper carry potential there. And Xayah can be that late game win con, can do well with Ornn. Ornn can set up the Xayah because the Ornn Horn gives you the opportunity to then close that gap and then do that massive damage. But I do think there were better options. Jinx was one of the ones that I was excited to potentially see. No,
I like the Jinx angle. I do think that because it's Xayah Rakan, I didn't see the Rakan being left up. Yes, straight into a Poppy. That doesn't feel fantastic. But as far as just how the draft looks from KT, it looks fantastic. Like, if you saw this and it wasn't KT that was at the start of everyone's name, you'd be like, oh, okay, we could have a game on our hands. And honestly, I think this one's going to be a possibility. Yeah, it's relatively short range, but there's not a massive amount of range on the side of Gen G either. It's, yes, you know, Ezreal theoretically outranges it, but not by that much, and it's not going to be as much of a big deal. See whether KT can utilize it, though. That's the big problem.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the Rift to see whether KT can bring us to the 3-game banger. And I think and also I want to delve into the Ornn situation as well, because Ornn only needs levels.
True.
Right? Doesn't need farm.
He didn't have a ton of those levels last game either, but
hey, he had more levels than he had farm.
That's true.
On a relative basis.
Yeah, sure.
Game to game. So I do think that this is going to suit them a little bit better. Cuz is on a champion that he can get things done early with, and he can pair with BDD to get those skirmishes happening as well. Wei can help out. I think like a lot of it will come down to execution, but the tools at KT's disposal should be enough. Like, we're not going to be blaming draft by the end of this one, unless Gen G loses, which we might a little bit, because I don't like this one as much. I think that, as you mentioned earlier, Ezreal not in a fantastic position at the moment. They're not representing a massive amount of DPS, depending on what build Chovy goes and how far ahead they can get. But I think it will be relying a little bit on a snowball.
I don't think Thuro really wants to charge in here, but was posturing aggressively. Here's a question that KT has to answer, okay? Who does BDD engage on in 5v5 fights when they don't have Prio? Does he just stun Canyon and pray that like Perfect gets the knockup and Duck Dom's damage is enough on 3 items later on to kill Canyon? Is it Chovy who's going to be, you know, going for a Galio build where he isn't that tanky, doesn't have that much armor? They try to burst him down with some of Duck Dom's damage. Because when you're playing into this comp for Gen G and you're behind, like, BDD can't just like hide on bush because he has to walk towards Gen G, who are the ones who have the vision control. So if you lose control, if you lose tempo, not tempo vibes, but if you lose tempo, because KT do not have tempo vibes, not even a little bit.
I mean, I think they should with this comp.
I mean, you're the tempo vibes guys, so like if you think.
I mean, yeah. So the tempo vibes will be like Gen G are just holding on in their lanes quite nicely. Topside should, of course, have push advantage for Keen, but as we saw in the mid lane, BDD is able to get some shove. BDD in this matchup, Chovy in this matchup has been able to just go even.
Yeah, he's been super good.
And that is kind of what he's doing right now, which is a little bit of a worrying sign for KT. So if they can stop that from happening, if BDD can get an advantage and him and Cuz can get around the Rift, then this could be a game that KT actually has some tempo vibes in, you know?
Pretty early back here for Chovy. but there's not really much BDD can do to punish it. We'll interrupt the taunt. Jovi's like, cool, I still get my punch afterwards. Denies one ranged minion.
There you go.
Small advantages. Small baby steps. Like, if BD hits all three, he's up 1 CS.
Perfect just got a cannon. This is huge news.
That is,
You might think that it's cope, but KT are doing things. Oh, never mind. Maybe this is not the things they wanted to be doing. Wei is at least able to battle dance his way out, as Dr. I'm taking a lot of damage on the outset of the play.
the Ezreal feels so good into the Annie, so we're going to have to talk about what Ezreal feels good when he has a jungler that's going to slam somebody into a wall.
Yeah, Canyon is just going to throw a rock into this bottom lane. Decent little knock up there from Wei. It doesn't get stunned into the wall, as now Dura going to have to flash to get himself out of the way. That was not the dive that GENG were looking for, but they're still sticking around. They've held onto this wave, so they might be able to get another opportunity, but these health bars are not very high, and Wei is holding this wave just offside. Canyon just going to flash in, though, and there is first blood. Never mind.
All Canyon has to do...
just takes a little bit longer, as Ruler almost died.
Oh,
the flash! Okay, does get the flash out from Ruler, but I think the Xayah flash a little more valuable.
Yeah, at this point, given that Ezreal basically has a flash on his E, it's still a nice try there from Ducktom. You get at least something back. But ultimately, if he got the kill there, would have felt a lot better, which is why he goes for it. If Ruler doesn't react instantly, maybe there's something to come of this. But the initial dive is really messed up here by Wei, and the block on Canyon is massive. Duro takes the turret aggro, then the flash has to come out. It's the follow-up dive, which is so difficult to deal with because all Canyon needs to do is flash in to guarantee that both he gets that engage and also the turret aggro. So that's the biggest concern. They eventually get the wave, he gets the flash on the Wei, and then Ducktom is like, Ruler takes an extra turret shot, maybe. No, not quite.
I don't even know why the turret got angry at him. He must have hit him just after Canyon got out of range.
Yeah.
It did look like they were just out scot-free.
Yeah, I think that's just unlucky for him there in terms of the timing.
Yep.
But, I mean, that's already step one, like a level 4 Skarner gank dive into your lane. Trades were bad, which is part of why this happened, right? Like, Wei went straight into a steadfast presence. They lost a bunch of health, and Canyon's like, well, see if we get an opportunity down here.
Yep, and now you can do that thing that you were doing before, which was talking about KT having to play from behind, because they are officially behind.
Yeah,
as of right now.
Official, they're going to lose the first dragon here. Now, Cuz is going to try to make a play topside onto Keen.
Keen is going to try to recall. This is not going to work. Cuz can make the wind become the lightning.
He doesn't have his ult either, because he already used it. Try to clear the wave to get that recall. He's probably just going to have to walk out.
Yep, he is going to be able to do that.
He still has TP, though.
He misses a large wave, because he's not teleporting back to this one unless he wants to die.
Sure, he's going to have to back and then TP bottom side as Ruler is coming up. So some minions lost here, as in fact Duro is the one who TPs first. This is a little bit awkward here, as Ruler can't quite get back.
Yeah, plate gold is coming on over, as, the cannon's actually collected for Ruler. Kind of nutty that he's able to get that money. That feels very, very good. And Ruler and Duro able to set themselves back up. So, yeah, KT get a plate for the Xayah. But that is about it.
So she's only 350 behind.
There we go, there's something.
And, I mean, bottom side, Perfect went down there first in the swap, right? Didn't get a huge lead from it, but actually, like, is up on farm, is up 250 gold. Obviously, this wave will crash, and that'll diminish a little bit as Keen catches it. He had the TP. But KT were able to get at least something. Like, they have now halved the gold lead that GENG had at just under 1,000. So, small kickbacks here. And I'm looking at the situation for, I was asking that question earlier about BDD. Who does he engage on? Who does he catch? If he could flank and catch the Rumble, that's a member that doesn't have an Arcane Shift or, a lot of health and armor and tankiness to then survive. Like, he's not going to have big MR when that bear drops down. Like, maybe he could be the target BD finds. But again, it's a lot of, do you have prio? Can you actually walk up? Chovy is going to leave lane here, and BDD may be able to crash a few minions away from him.
Trisha Barrage going to soften up Wei there a little bit. It looks like at least, Dr. and Wei aren't falling any further behind or anything like that outside of losing some health bars. The CS numbers are doing all right, as Canyon's going to make his way over. Oh, never mind. It could just be doomed. As Wei not going to be... Oh, he actually waits out the steadfast presence, just barely survives. As the KT bottom lane do limp their way out of there. That should mean that GENG are easily able to take these grubs, though.
It's grubs, and also Ruler might just push this wave in and grab a plate because he can.
Chovy does get ulted back there by Cuz. Chovy gonna have to flash. Does do so to get himself out of dodge.
VOD has really been putting the pressure on in this lane. He forced Chovy to back moments before, and Chovy didn't quite have his TP up, so had to back and lost some minions there, and is now forced out completely. Now that he does have his TP up, he will be able to go straight back to lane, so it won't be the end of the world, but VOD's finding these angles, finding these opportunities, finding these flashes. Certainly a small victory. Again, we talk about these small victories for KT, but getting small victories against GENG feel like getting massive victories. It's the hardest team to get any victory against, and
but I mean, I want to go back to the tempo vibes just a bit here. I know that people are, you know, probably a bit tired of it, but it's something that I do need to talk about, because while like Chovy's getting forced back and KT's putting on the pressure, because of the fact that this bottom lane duo here from GENG are so far ahead and so much control and pushing Dum away around, it's still just free grubs over to GENG. It's still them with 2 objectives on the map. It still feels like GENG just has more.
They do. And the thing about grubs in these 2 comps is that they're not the most impactful because it's Galio, Rumble, Annie, Ornn in terms of side laners. So it's not like there's a Gwen in this game that's, or a Tristana or a Jax or a Fiora that's going to be demolishing turrets, but it still is relevant, especially when it comes to pushes later on in the game, Barons, things like that. I mean, that damage will really add up. So it's not the end of the world for KT, but still, like you said, it's +1 objective, +more map control, and, you know, further proof that GENG's composition absolutely can function, and it is already starting to become a problem. Like, this Ezreal Poppy play has been fantastic from Ruler and Duro. You can see how, like, Ruler set that up with his True Shot Barrage. Like, he was 2 steps ahead of, like, okay, I think I can get kill pressure here. It's just insane to watch. Duro gets on top of Wei, so he can't actually use his W to get out. He's forcing them back away. Drops the Ignite in desperation.
Well, Canyon is going to make his way in here. Does set up, but Duro does have the inside track. Dum going to come on over. He actually blast coned his way in. There's the Impale, but Cuz still keeping himself relatively safe. The flash out there from Cuz as they go back in looking for Chovy. That is going to be the kill. It goes over to Wei, unfortunately, but they'll take it. They are going to even things out. Now the stun is going to connect, and the 1-2 punch here of the Xin Zhao Annie is going to work until they are evicted from the play. And Cuz just goes down. There's the knock up as the answer might actually be here, and there it is. Feathers get pulled back. Wei might be dead, but BDD is just going to wander his way back in. No mana to speak of, but he is still scary enough to get rid of GENG.
They're going to actually stop Duro's back. Small victory there.
Oh, Ruler. This could be very scary, as at least BDD is coming over there to say no Ruler.
Yeah, he does
not allowed.
Does not have barrier, but had a ton of health, so wants to try to force the issue there. He had cleanse, so isn't scared of a potential stun from BDD. This looks at the outset here like a bit of a overextension from KT because of the Galio ult. Canyon has Impale as well, but it kind of messes up the value there that Chovy's looking for, and then Chovy just finds himself in the middle of a team fight, which is a meat grinder. This Aya ult comes out. Canyon gets out of these feathers, which is really critical. Then KT have the numbers advantage, right? BDD gets his stun ready. Duro helped out here by his ultimate so incredibly well. Pushes BDD away, and Ruler adds so much damage. The fact that they are able to get a kill back here is just insane to me. Canyon, though, doesn't leave, so that ends up being another trade up for KT. Gold now dead even. You know, we had 1,000, then it was 500 when we last checked in, and now it's basically 0. GENG have like 200 gold in the tank. Yep, and this game starts to feel a lot more playable after that scenario.
100%. And now Wei is going to try and get out of the way. Dum here could be in trouble, but that's going to be the snare. The quickness comes on through. The flash has to be employed to get Canyon out of trouble, as the teleport in from BDD is looking for Ruler. Does manage to find him. True Shot Barrage just bit. Wow, Wei just didn't even flinch.
Yeah, Wei's like, I've seen a lot of True Shot
I think
Barrages.
he should have flinched. I don't know.
The way I look at that is he's like, man, I've seen over 10,000 True Shot Barrages. I know that one's not going to hit.
I don't know. Hitboxes in this game seem to change day to day. That's my experience.
Maybe Peter flinches. Wei is like, nah, I
guess not. That's going to bring him a little bit of tempo back.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really aggressive play that cost Canyon this flash, right? Ruler doesn't have cleanse anymore.
Oh, we got a ward going into this brush. They spot all 4 members as the equalizer goes down. Goodbye, jungler. Thanks for the leash, says GENG, as Canyon very comfortably steals that away. The Ornhorn going to come down as he just turns his way out of it. Oh, no. Oh, well, KT, I guess GENG going to be thankful for the leash.
Chovy not even there. You're going to get plate gold on the top side. Canyon,
yeah,
should just actually catch
the hidden Scorpion. The Impale went a direction.
Yeah, didn't quite catch him actually, so never mind on that one. Chovy grabs plate money, and KT lose some of the lead that they had there.
소멸됩니다.
And I mean, Nocturne wants to get this plate here. It's a big wave. Is Zaya into Ezreal really misses that? Maybe he can barely get it. Looks like he just barely will. So that's money.
Yeah, a little bit more coming back. 250 going to be the difference here. As Chovy could, I mean, he is in a lot of trouble. There's not a lot of justice in that punch. As the bear goes down, he taunts them all, and they're like, yes. And then they kill him. And that is going to be Feats of Warfare actually going over to KT. So just a turret, and they will be able to get themselves some upgraded shoes.
Yeah, that was, I liked where Chovy was going with it the last time, where there was no one to contest and they were winning the fight and he got plate gold, but then stayed for a very long time there without really any secured vision and just gets punished for it. The kill goes over to Cuz, which isn't the end of the world. Xin Zhao actually uses gold pretty well. He's got his Sundered Sky already. BD would have loved to have it, but either way, it's still a big win to pull Chovy off of the map. As you can see, he has one control ward here, but it's a full wraparound. By the time they get to the control vision, he's way ahead of it. And so it just doesn't have anybody do anything here. Good zoning there from Wei. Punch is denied. He was going to die no matter what.
Yeah. Very, very dead. And this is what we want to see, right? We want to see the Rakan and the Xin Zhao just walking over to the other damage dealers and taking names. That's precisely what they're able to do. Off the back end, it is Ruler extending that lead a little bit further. Things like this, the Ezreal is very strong right now, looking for item number 2 that should be coming in relatively soon, but with Trinity Force, it's already a big deal. We know that Ruler has been able to get a lot of work done on this champion in the past, even if we don't necessarily like it as much now. It is still Ruler, he is still Ezreal, and so it could still be a big problem for KT.
Yeah, they have a lot of control here over the river and Herald, so Ruler can push up to almost melee range on that turret without any fear. And Chovy shows up now, does have his ultimate, so skirmishing here is going to be really tricky. And Keen has a teleport TP.
No teleport for perfect, you cannot fight this KT.
There's no way.
Yep, Duro is just going to send Cuz away, and that is a guaranteed take on the Rift Herald. KT still wanting to look for something here. I'm not sure about it as the equalizer goes down. And Wei able to use that quickness, getting himself out of the way as Doctor's so incredibly close to dead, but will be able to keep himself alive. And the question I have is like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we fighting? Why are we doing this? The flash out from Cuz gets him to safety, but why does he need to get to safety? As Wei is almost dead, he gets out, but why? BD flashes in! And I think I know why he was looking for a kill, but I just don't know whether he's going to be able to find it, as now they're able to back away. KT, we don't have to.
No. And, like,
all right,
Canyon is just going to make sure they don't try to defend this turret, but remember when I asked the question about who does BDD ult if they don't have any prio? He didn't do anything until he ulted randomly at the end, and it didn't do anything either. But, like, in that fight, he was there. He's like, hold on, maybe we could fight this. Perfect's coming up. Let's beat them here. And, like, Duckdom living was really impressive, and I had the exact same thought in my mind. It's like, it's really cool that Duckdom lives here. Like, watch how he plays against Redemption. He gets out. I'm like, however, like, he could have just not used his ult, flash, and barrier, and just been like, okay, I guess they get Herald, and our Ornn pushes a little bit in the bottom side. Perfect does show up in ults, but it doesn't matter. And BD is over here like, I can't, Wolf. There is no target. There is no target, Wolf. I got Duro. Oh, not what I wanted. Chovy gets the double, and they just have to leave. They should have left earlier.
Yeah, they didn't need to be around here at all. They could have left their Ornn in the bottom lane.
Yeah, no, I think they should have.
They should have said that, like, this Rift Herald is not going to go to us, so we can't do anything about it.
You're the Ornn comp. You don't have to force fights like that when your Ornn can't get there fast enough. If Perfect is there, if he has TP and matches Keen, or...
Yeah, it's fine. Or you're already too late. Cut your losses.
Yeah, if you deny Keen's teleport somehow, and then maybe you take a 4v4 there, and if you play it perfect, but they just... No.
Yeah, I don't think they read the tempo vibes.
No.
I think that might have been what happened. GENG have firmly got those ones in their control, despite the fact that they're not exactly massively ahead. They just seem to have the answers this game. As BDD trying to be sneaky. It is going to get spotted out there by Keen. And Wei is just going to try and push Canyon out of here. More battling, as this time Perfect does have his teleport. Now we're actually fighting for an objective. And GENG are in the area. Duro with a beautiful angle. True Shot Barrage just means that Cuz and Wei are already so low. They do get the redemption, so this health bar isn't too much of a problem, but Wei is going to have to try and get himself out, and I just don't know whether it's going to happen. Gets a knock-up onto Canyon here, but no one's there to follow up.
Chovy the whole time is denying entry for Perfect. He's like, you can't get in here. I'm not going to allow it. Not going to let that Ornn actually Ornn this fight. And we have complete control on the bottom side. Chovy's like literally chasing him to the mid turret now. He's like, yo, you are not actually coming to this objective fight. KT, I'm going to deny you the fight you shouldn't have taken last time. This time you just cannot even get there. And that's the free dragon.
Yeah, that's the sole point.
And with no cross map, no return.
No.
Wei?
Well, yeah, he didn't even have ult, so it wasn't like he was going to set up for a huge play anyway, but Equalizer goes down, and GENG looking to take that Drake and then move on and grab this turret. In the meantime, Chovy is in the top lane, taking the outer turret up there.
So it's GENG who gets the objective and the cross map, I see.
Yes, yes. GENG is taking the objective and cross mapping.
It's not really a cross map if you got the objective though, so it's like a double map?
Yeah, I think it is still a cross map, but you're just doing the thing that your opponent is supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So they got objectives on both sides of the map, which goes against the, like Newton had a law about this, I think.
Yeah, we were talking about that guy. This is an apple to the head, if ever I've seen one. We'll say that.
Yeah, it certainly might be a learning moment. It might be a bit of
a learning moment.
Might be a bit of eureka for Perfect. Not staying inside. To be fair, again, Chovy denied his entry to that fight. And I think without the Ornn, they just can't win it.
And it is beautifully played. The fact that they read the fact that there is no real way for them to do too much if they don't have the quickness, if Wei doesn't have options. And they just mark him. They make sure that he's low enough for it not to be as much of an issue.
It's like a safety check, you know, for GENG.
Yeah.
They run the check before the plane takes off. Like, all right, everything's good to go. All right, take the dragon. And KT's like, oh, I'm a problem that we might have to solve. No, I already did the check on the Ornn. I did the check on the Recon engage. We're good to go. Take that dragon. GENG now have choke point control with Impale.
And there's also no objective to fight for, so maybe this is time for KT to fight. Yes, it precisely is, as they go in onto Canyon, who just says, and what? And the and what is nothing.
Keen had his ultimate in like 3 seconds before that fight was about to break out and had TP. Instead, because they don't need him, he just pushes top side.
Ooh, Perfect, doesn't quite get the knock up there onto Chovy, as he breathes on some minions. True Shot Barrage just to clear out the wave, and that will successfully do so. I feel like they're using this Ezreal.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was literally
so
going to say
much
the same thing.
tempo this game.
I was actually literally going to say the same thing. Is every single True Shot Barrage has had a reason.
Yeah, and it's like thinning waves, making sure health bars are low, like denying fights. Like it must be so frustrating to play into.
It's pretty crazy. Like Duro's definitely getting palm if this continues at the current rate because of his game 1 performance and also his great disengage earlier. He's 100% KP, but I don't know. Ruler is. He's trying to get a few votes. He might get a cheaty cheek out of this one. I don't know.
Yep. I reckon he can have my soup vote, 100%. He's looking real good.
He's just had a phenomenal game on a pick that's really niche right now, but suits the draft, and he's one lane with it. He's got both of the kills. I don't have anything bad to say. Only positive things.
When in doubt, Otacon.
I mean, they're trying to force an unfavorable fight with the power they have.
Teleport now. Teleport now, Perfect. Perfect, teleport now.
Not teleporting now, he's teleporting far away.
Okay, he is going to teleport now, at least. As there's the knock-up on the Canyon. They want to be able to take down the jungler. He's so tanky. Still, he's able to deliver a gargoyle and flash away. Tibbers gets ulted on. True Shot Barrage this time is not going to find the mark. Neither does the Equalizer really, although Doctom is so incredibly low. Chovy dives in, gets the Featherstorm out here as Doctom uses the barrier. Canyon, he manages to snipe him. Down goes the Lover's Joy. The Ornn is picked up, and it's an instant triple for Ruler, who is now 5-0. 100% of the kills here for GENG.
Not 100% kill participation, although he technically is. He's just
he has
100%
that too.
Kills. Well, that may just be the backbreaker in this one. What was a relatively close game until GENG ended up getting too much control, and then a desperate Otacon now means KT just got nothing, and it looked so good until Canyon's Impale. Like,
yeah, there's impales and there's impales. You know, sometimes like, you can get a stick like stuck somewhere in your hand. Or this is like a stake to the heart, and that's what Canyon just did.
If KT pull off of the Otacon too, like then GENG just slow play it and then you lose out anyways. Keen has this flank angle, and by the time this Ornhorn comes out, like he solo ults Keen, and then the opportunity here with the Impale.
Oh my goodness.
Just insane. Duckdom just burned away.
Duckdom also just accidentally died offside because he did manage to get the flash off in time. I kind of thought that he was a victim of that Impale as well, but wasn't actually. It was just Ruler that hit him with a couple of abilities and he died.
It's the way it looked for Duckdom at the beginning, like his feathers into Chovy may have made it look like, or it did look like for a brief moment that Chovy maybe overextended with that play after they denied the Otacon. The equalizer was decent, but just too much GENG, too good of Ezreal play, and
this is Ocean Soul.
It is.
Maybe like if Ruler does get every kill in this game, maybe we do have to give him palm.
I'm kind of okay with the concept.
I do think it's probably still Duro. You might be right, but if he does get every kill in the game, that would be pretty. He just missed a cannon. Never mind, it's Duro.
Duro's still 100% KP also.
True.
In a game where his biggest wins have been setting Ruler up in lane and then otherwise peeling in team fights. I guess that's a great peel ultimates. He also has removed some big targets, like he took BDD out in one of those big fights on Dragon earlier. Does KT now just have to resort to tricks? We've talked about this a lot in the LCK. When you're behind against a team like GENG, you just have to go hide on bush and hope for the best.
I mean, it's Molten Edge time as well, so at least Duckdom is doing a bunch of extra damage. BDD does take down Duro as they set the trap and look to take... Canyon's drifting has been so sick today.
He's the only Skarner player in our league right now, and so he is by default the best, but if everyone was playing Skarner and I watched this game, I'd be like, well, he's the best.
Yeah. Ruler is going to take down in
like,
get himself out of the way. As Canyon, I mean, it was a cool play, but I think maybe he heard us saying that he was like super cool and stuff, and then he does that thing where he goes a little bit too far.
I don't know, we just panned over and I watched Duckdom with his ult get impaled, and I was like, that's a good play, but...
They are flashing in. Great quickness play there onto Keen as the equalizer is in a decent position. The gargoyle delivery is so good, and Keen picks up the first kill for not Ruler in this game, and Ruler is a bit angry about that, so he's going to grab another one for himself as what goes up must come down, and that equals another double here for Ruler. 7-0 here for this Ezreal, and now Wei is getting chased down. True Shot Barrage, if that connected, he was dead, but he is not.
Wei knows about True Shot Barrage, you figure that out.
He has, now that he's been, yeah, at the receiving end of it.
Well, the idea for KT, I think, in this one is Canyon gets an Impale, and it's like, oh my god, he got knocked off, but there's no follow-up, and they're like, okay, this is our in. There's no Impale anymore. They're out of position. We can force this fight. Let's chase them down. And, like...
KT just kind of looked blindfolded.
Well, we're going a bit further back here, but Duro gets taken out initially. Canyon, the target of this, but drifts away. I'd rather see this. Okay, so Canyon has control vision here, so he just catches them on the pathing. But because of Perfect, Ruler can't close the gap there to follow up, and then they get the kill onto Canyon. Ruler has already used his shift. Flashes away. Does not actually want to continue here. And then KT, instead of just taking the W and looking for a little bit of Baron control, they're like flashing in here with Wei and Cuz to try to kill Keen. And Chovy has ultimate, gets in here, and the rest of the team is just so split now.
I mean, it was 3v5. Like, they should be making that play. It's just unfortunately, they get hit by the big old Ruler wallet in the end, and it's just doomed.
Just Duckdom can't close the gap. Like, it's Wei and a Xinjiao, like Cousin Wei go in, but then there's just not enough follow-up, and then Chovy buys enough time, and then if Duckdom was there, I think 100% you smash that fight, but he just wasn't there in time.
Yeah, well, he's here now. There you go. The Ram, all right. We get a Bellows Breath. There's a nice knock-up onto Ruler. I mean, nothing's really going to come of it as the Arcane Shift gets him out of that grand entrance, cuz, oh, the Impale's so good here from Canyon. Once again, Ruler gets his 8th. He's legendary. He already was. I mean, it's Ruler, but he's going to grab a 9th here on the back end. As GENG, I think they want to go home. I think they're kind of done with this one as they are looking for their first inhibitor of the game. Keen was in the bottom lane, by the way, guys, pushing this Baron wave towards this inhibitor, and they'll take 2 at the same time, which is kind of what they've been doing all game.
Yeah, that's really a great way to put it. Atlas says, okay, maybe we get one?
Nah, it's Gargoyle Delivery. That's what's going to come on through here as Joby puts himself in position with a great Justice Punch. The Nexus, it belongs to GENG now as Ruler bobbing for apples, takes down Dr. Arm. BDD, the next one in trouble as they just destroy them on their fountain. And GENG, yeah, they'll make swift work of KT here today.
Is it Ruler Palm? Like, he got 10 kills.
Absolutely obliterated that game.
Yeah, I think he just kind of steals it from Duro. I actually think I have to give it to him. Like, I mean, Duro did take Perfect out of the game in game 1 and had some pretty good poppy moves in game 2, but you have a game like that, you kind of just take it away. I hate to do it because it's like sometimes you feel like you're voting for Boom Boom when you do this, but by the way, they now have qualified for round 2. They were already in playoffs and already in Worlds, but round 2. Yeah. They can't get anything. They can't get anything else for the rest of the tournament.
It's gonna get to the, like, they're gonna keep winning so much that they're just gonna win. They're just gonna, like, they've qualified for first place, winning the playoffs. That's what they're gonna do. No best of 5 necessary.
Like, you know, back to the Duro thing. Like, sometimes it feels like you're voting for a Boom Boom when you vote for Ruler like this, but I don't know, man. His performance was insane. It was actually crazy. His True Shot Barrage, his
and the
game
fact that it's on
Ezreal
Ezreal as well, like, people aren't even really playing this champion at this point in time.
You know, we often talk about players getting robbed. Ruler robbed him, and I'm sorry, but he gets away with it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the heist goes well.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching those movies and you're like, oh, like, I just really like Clive Owen. Like, the guy's really cool and, like, he's quite eloquent. And you're like, Denzel Washington's doing a great thing here. But I'm sorry, I just really like Clive Owen in this one. And that's understandable.
Yeah.
And I assume there's going to be a lot of Denzel votes out there.
Duro did catch his bag there as well. Like, he stuck the landing on that ceremony. So maybe Chronic's feeling a little bit better about his Duro vote right now.
I assume that's. I'm sure he held strong. But I would have definitely been a flip-flopper. That was just such a Ruler masterclass in this game.
I mean, we'll watch all of it back, right? In this this moment, like, Duro had some phenomenal plays in the early game.
I like
that
how
was
we
like
just watched
the
like
worst
7 buttons miss.
Yeah, that was the worst True Shot Barrage of the game for Ruler right there.
No, there was another one. One more, but the other ones were all really good.
Yeah. This Otacon attempt from KT was one of many desperation.
Why are we watching like the only 2 that just don't really do anything at all?
Yeah, well,
was Ruler just carried actually this
We skipped some steps, I think, in this one.
It was this. Dr. Arm flashed away and Ruler's like, no, you're dead.
I mean, Canyon might get a road vote. He had a pretty good
The drifting was pretty cool.
He had some impales that were really sick in game winning, and he had some impales that was like, that's impressive, but yeah, not sure if that's, like, that was the one he missed. I'm like, it's impressive that you missed that. That was also the one where I'm like, wow, you got dunked on. Well, your team didn't know about it though, so.
Maybe there's, maybe there's like some soup viewers that are like sipping their Corona and like, they're like, this guy can drive.
I mean,
something like that.
Someone like Captain Flowers would probably vote for him. You know, a Skarner player
that's a very
is 100%.
I mean, he picked Skarner, so obviously that's where the captain's vote's going. That one's not too difficult to understand. But honestly, like this was.
Look at this Canyon as well, where they're like, I think maybe we can at least kill Canyon.
Yeah. No. Good old Galio delivery. And look at Ruler. He's like, I took 1 Nexus turret down. Can I kill them all now?
By the way,
yes.
For those hoping maybe Chovy doesn't get #1, you know, for those chasing him right now, like for the Zeus's out there, you're like, whew, well, it definitely isn't Chovy, right? For once.
yeah.
Like, for once, it actually isn't Chovy. He can't.
I do want to see the vote spread, because I'm sure he's just going to randomly steal one. But look at that. He did, like, as much damage as his top side combined. Did he do as much damage as his entire team? Well, like, I mean, almost. Wait, was it?
Yeah, he did.
It's almost exactly.
Yeah, he did more than Keen Canyon. No,
they did 45K.
Almost.
They did about 45K.
Yeah, almost
but it was very, very close to him doing like almost exactly 50%. So that'd be like a 45% of his team's damage type performance there on the Ezreal. Incredibly, incredibly impressive.
It will definitely warp some of his key player matchup stats.
This was like very close to a perfect game. As 5-0-7 on the Corki. It was a bit of a forgettable one there, and 11-0-1. As obviously Chronicler is a Duro voter, but I mean, Duro played exceptionally well.
I hope I'm the tiebreaker. I hope like it was dead even until Wolf changed his vote. Because I already had the Duro vote written in and I changed it after seeing the
That's
latter half.
You know what? I think you've done justice today for Clive Owen and all of those people that understand my Inside Man reference that went way too long. I mean, sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it is just stolen away, and you have to just accept it.
Yeah, sometimes you just, some of the intricacies of Duro and all that, like, just get overblown. Ruler was a player of the match.
He was.
He was a player of the match.
He was the one, and like there's boom damage votes, and then there's the all the damage vote.
Yeah.
And he did all of the damage. And I don't
He boomed Chronicler
yeah,
as well.
I didn't even really like the GENG draft, like, at all, really. But, like, they made it work. Like, the Skana hits differently when it's wielded by Canyon. Same can be said about the Ezreal and this Galio. And it's so beautiful that we've got the Chovy Galio experience and the Faker Galio experience. They are very different things, both amazing in their own right. And Chovy showing that Galio feels a bit like his day off champion, you know, where he's like, oh, I just want to sit back and press R on people. And that's what he did. And it looked really good while he controlled the side lanes. And we now get to have a little bit of a conversation with Ruler as well, which we don't get too much of an opportunity to do so. What is he sitting on? He's like 200 points right now?
Yeah.
It's only 2 of them. So now it is time for us, I think, to head straight over to the interview with Ruler.
Thank you very much, guys. This is here for the POM interview translation, joined by Ruler on the side of GENG. Wow, the fans are so happy for you. Congratulations on the win. And you just got your 4th consecutive win and have secured a spot in the playoffs round 2. How do you feel? Feels amazing. And getting the POM always feels great. And that was such a dominating performance yet again today. Is there something that GENG tends to be careful about? Something that you guys like to watch out for? I feel like draft is really the key of this current meta, so I think that's just something that we're most careful about, the draft. And in the last team fight of game 1, Keen got a triple with Gwen, and we were actually all wondering and very excited to see if that becomes a penta, but you took the last kills. So did you think that you had to take the penta away? You know, because of the enemy's positioning, I just thought that, you know, there's no way Keen gets a penta. There's just no way. I knew that there is absolutely no chance that he could actually get a penta, and that's why I took them. And in the recent ADC champion trend, it feels like Ezreal wasn't quite of that preferred pick, but you still picked him in game 2. So how do you explain your decision? You know, I think there are other champions that got a buff, and I feel like I wasn't Ezreal wasn't actually my preferred pick either. But I feel like the other teams, because Ezreal isn't being picked lately, I felt like maybe this Ezreal pick might have built tolerance, so I thought that maybe this would be an effective decision as well. So regarding Yunara, you spoke pretty highly of her, but GENG banned her in both games. So do you think Yunara belongs to the top of the tier list? Yeah, I think she definitely is a high tier pick. And I really just wanted to see how the other teams play her out. And I was really excited to play her as well, but today our decision was, let's just go ahead and ban her. So that's why we ended up not seeing her in our match today, but I hope that in the future, I will be able to see more of her. And with the bot lane's incredible 0-death performance, you were today's POM. But Chovy's at 1,300 POM points and will be awarded the player of the split. So how do you feel about Chovy's sweeping all those POMs? Do you feel sad about it? No, I don't feel particularly sad. And I'm not particularly frustrated, but since he is already awarded such a huge milestone, I feel like he should probably give the POM to the rest of our teams. And Chovy actually got a POM, and I actually bought him some Korean barbecue, so I hope that this time around he is able to treat me in return since I got the POM. Back then it was the POG actually that we celebrated, so given that this is a POM, it must be more valuable, right? Yeah, I believe so. So maybe I can expect the expensive dinner. And with that, you will advance straight to playoffs round 2. And you're still halfway through the regular season. So in the remaining matches, what will you focus on? You know, there are so many competitive teams right now. And I think we just have to really look into and study what kind of draft will work the best for our team. And I think I just have to make sure that we can keep our fans happy. I'm just really glad and happy for all the support. So I want to I want to keep on performing well for them. And it looks like your parents are here. They must be so proud of you for getting a POM today. Anything you want to say? You know, this is the first time. You know, as an alpha male, it's kind of hard for me to say and something that's soft, but I'm just really grateful that you're always watching me and supporting me, and thank you. That's the end of the interview with GENG, and back to the space. Thank you.